Does everything happen for a reason? Did the stars just align? Is the puzzle finally completed? Did the Legos finally fit in place? It may be the destiny to be 5-man lightning strike since the day they were a fetus. Or is this a fake video? Was it fate that I keep stealing Chris Wu's quotes? There are many quotes in this world, quotes that seem to make sense on their own, but when put against each other, which quote should you follow? For example, don't fix it if it ain't broken. If I had glasses and a short haircut, I would be vibrating along with my screen, triggered every way every time I heard it. What about the quote, the only way to evolve is to innovate? The only way to move forward is to change the present. They both seem to make sense. So which one should be your motto? If you haven't heard of the second quote, I understand, because I made it up. But my point is, a lot of these quotes are very broad. We should put context into it, use context and apply it to the quote. But that's not the case for everyone. There are people out there who uses quotes like these as an excuse to master action's life. If you can't handle me when I'm camping, you don't deserve me when I'm camping. One day I was sitting in a bus, heading to Starbucks for a grande frappuccino americano italiano cream pie philosophical coffee, with a side of cream, a little honey sugar sprinkled on top. Suddenly, the quote, everything happens for a reason, for some reason, popped up in my head. In my half-awakened state, I sprung up from my half-conscious state and began thinking, the fuck is this quote supposed to even mean? I've heard from many of my acquaintances, strangers, say that they believe that everything happens for a reason. But have they ever wondered what the quote even mean? I haven't, ever. So this is my first time ever. Is the quote just another way to describe cause and effect? You do this, you get that, like a chemistry experiment. Cause and effect. Or is it describing every action you make in life, you become closer to reaching that one defining purpose of your life? That sounds more like destiny and fate to me. Every step we take is one step closer to our final form. If that's the case, that seems like we're just a piece of seaweed surfing along the tidal wave of life. So if that's really it, what is every time we step out of our comfort zone, it feels like we're making a breakthrough? Finally, after all these years, we do something new and exciting in our repetitive and mundane lives. If everything does happen for a reason, this breakthrough seems and feels diminished. Like it was expected of you to do the unexpected. Since every act of courage in life was predetermined, and ultimately you're not even in charge of your own life, right? We are just living pieces of meat that's stuck together by bones that exist on Earth to serve a greater purpose. It already seems existential at this point. 15 minutes has passed. By this point, half of my coffee is gone. Finally, I feel awoken. Here's another passing thought. It seems to me that everything happens for a reason simply describes evolution. Evolution of our lives and pure evolution. Human evolution. Maybe it's just how life progresses. It's how the universe keeps moving forward, keeps rotating. Spin that wheel, Earth! Maybe it was predetermined that Albert Einstein's parents furiously fucked each other. Every move they made since they were a baby led to them meeting up in person finally. Then, Einstein Sr. unleashed his pick-up artist skills in order to spawn a genius 9 months later. Their entire life's purpose is to help advance the Earth forward by giving birth to someone who can. 10 minutes later. The coffee is now finished. I don't even like coffee, I just like its effects. So here are 2 point of views I came up with that I now take when looking at this quote. This quote offers both an optimistic and pessimistic look at life. Let's start with pessimistic first, because why not, and then end the video without the sky turning gray and pouring rain. Every time I hear everything happens for a reason, I hear complacency. The quote on an emotional level tells me that you should surrender, relax, because everything in life is planned out. It's as if no matter what you do, you're always going to end up converging into your one path. This ain't X-Men Days of Future Past, baby! This view stunts growth. It has this connotation that whatever you do, in the end it's fruitless because there's only one way. And that this magical, benevolent being sitting above the clouds, he who punishes 3 billion people with poverty, and out of that population, 1.3 billion of people suffers in extreme poverty, is somehow the decision maker, the person in charge in shaping how your life is supposed to turn out. Why not let this lad decide our fate because it's out of our control, right? Come on, man. Is this quote supposed to explain the quote, shit happens, or that the magical phenom of the WWE, that's karma? Is this even a useful quote? What even is the purpose of this supposed purposeful quote? How accurate is it actually? This quote is universal, it's broad, it applies to everyone and everything. No matter the context, how accurate is a quote if it encompasses everything and everyone? One last thought. Ever had to make a tough decision with a friend, and then after the decision turns sour, the friend tells you, "Ha, I told you so," or "Everything happens for a reason," or "I knew it. You should have done that. I told you. Why didn't you listen to me?" Ever felt the irritation from within? This false confidence after something has happened only breeds arrogance that feeds ignorance. Example, you're playing competitive COD. You just beat an above average team. You feel good. And then you go on YouTube to watch an Optic versus FaZe match. And then you think to yourself, wow, these noobs aren't as good as I thought. Making all these mistakes, they seem easier to beat than imagined. Or are you just misjudging a situation due to your own survivorship bias? Gambling seems easy because you won a few lucky hands in a row. So that's how I see this quote if I ever wore a negative hat or a negative snapback. But this channel isn't about that. Let's move on to the optimistic side. But before we do that, we need a good transitional sentence. High school English class never left me. German rationalist philosopher Leibniz once said, "The problem of evil begs an answer to the puzzle of how a world run by an all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good God could contain such evil." To which the great Steve Jobs responded indirectly, and in paraphrase, life is a puzzle. You can't connect the dots in the future, only the ones in the past. You have to have faith. A belief placed whether in yourself, in religion, or someplace else. You need to believe what you're going through right now will lead to something great. Because in the end it will all make sense. To quote the Lord of Script writing, Chris Terrio, "If God is all good, he cannot be all powerful." Vice versa. Our faults and failures are just stepping stones as part of the process of achieving something great. A mountain is never ever climbed from the top. It always starts from the bottom. No pain, no gain is embedded in the brain. Joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. Sunny days wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for rain. Death gonna be easy cause life is hard. 50 Cent Mr. Ferrari. This quote teaches us to appreciate hard work. It lets us know all these sleepless nights, all those sleepless nights will amount to that great moment. And in that great moment, everything will make sense. The dots from the past will connect together, and finally, the puzzle will be completed. The big picture seems as obvious as ever. My experience in life has built for me these perspectives, and I can't get rid of these biased goggles. I can only add more shades to these colorful lenses. I wish I could have a new pair of glasses, which is why I really wonder what you think. What do you think? What are your thoughts when reading this quote under your light from your own experiences in life? I'm curious about your thoughts. If you ever want to write, I'm here to read. Thanks for watching and take care.